Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to another Friday night live stream with the Georgia Shooters Connection. Say hey to Kyle, to Chico, and to Nathan. Take it away, Nathan.
Hi to Chico and Kyle and Nathan. How's everybody doing tonight? Glad you can make it. Glad to be here. Things have been going well. I've had a pretty decent week. Not too bad. Probably still riding the high from me getting to go up to the North Georgia mountains. Finally got some dies for the 450 Bushmaster. I'm gonna scrounge up some brass and maybe some small rifle primers, and we'll eventually get out shooting that thing. So, what you been up to, Chico?
Oh man, I've been just relaxing. We had some good weather, so still haven't wasn't able to go to the shooting range because I've been on daddy duty like always. But I'm looking forward to this week. Hopefully I'll go tomorrow. But I'm just excited to be here like always, guys. Get into some topics and some discussions about different stuff that I'm unfamiliar with. What about
Yeah.
you, Kyle?
Hey guys, glad to see all of you. Once again, this it's Friday night. The week's over with for most of us. Some of us may have to work on Saturday, but man, what a week! It's been a roller coaster for me, and I'm just glad to be able to cut up with everybody and have a little bit of fun. Um, I'm ready to dive into it. What about you, Jamie?
Man, if I was any more ready, I don't know what I'd do. Uh, yeah, hey Phil, um, I can't see live stream. I'm just now catching up. I've been frantic. It's been a rough afternoon trying to. I had to meet with the insurance guy. Y'all know how that goes. So uh,
Then you had a drive by.
it's kind of yeah. I did have a drive by. Y'all want to see what one of my buddies gave me today?
Yeah, let's see what you got there.
How about that?
Shotgun shell, huh?
What it says is not what's in it, so I've been told. But that's one of Kyle's. So I'm gonna put
Hmm.
his name on it and put it up there on the shelf with the rest of them. But one of the things we wanted to talk about to kind of keep the theme of brass prep going a little bit is talk about sizing our brass and any other things y'all may have some questions about. We're expecting a guest momentarily.
Sure. Yes, definitely.
So I'm gonna keep working on that, and y'all go ahead and talk about what you're gonna talk about. There's Mario. Hey,
All right, talk amongst yourselves while you work. I
yeah,
get it.
okay,
Um,
we'll do that.
One thing I had going on is Kevin, our brother from New York, sent me a link to a deal, and I tried working with it. I don't know if you guys have had any experience with Let Go, but it has not gone overly smooth because of the messaging system on that app doesn't seem to work right for me. I don't know, but so I'm this close to pulling the tray or to getting to finally get drinking the blue Kool-Aid, but I don't know. If that doesn't pull through, maybe I'll end up buying some more gun shit. Who knows? Gun stuff, sorry. Hey, Wes Covina, glad to see you.
I'm pretty sure that we're all adults here, and we've heard that term before.
Yeah, I just try to keep it as family friendly as I can.
Well, let's
Who
just
knows?
make it PG-13, and we'll limit it.
Yeah, who knows whose kids are in whose rooms? You know what I mean? I know James watches this, and I know he's got a whole parcel of youngins that run around. So I
Definitely.
try
So,
to do right.
Nathan, what earlier you said you got some dies for your 450.
Hmm.
What kind of dies did you get?
I got Lee. I got a set of Lee dies for it. I got them off Amazon. What I did was I had like $50 worth of like points, so they were free. You know,
Did
so ordered
I'm
them off.
curious because I've been looking at some dies, man. What is, and this gonna sound so rookie-ish. I've been reading it, and they say small base dies, and it's what's the other one?
We have a standard and a small base, and your small base is typically something that I look for when I'm going to shoot it into, like, if I got a bottleneck case, it's going to go into an auto and make sure that it feeds right. Because some of this, especially 223, I think, is susceptible because of the 223 5.56 thing to get you something that doesn't want to feed all that well. I think. Hell, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Do you like Lyman dies?
Yes.
You do.
I do. But here's the thing, man, and I don't know if other people have experienced this. There's times when I really like. There's certain dyes that I like from certain people. For instance, I'm a big fan of Lyman expander dyes for cast bullets, especially for handguns. However, Lyman bullet seeding dyes I don't have the best luck with. It's like there's something rough inside them sometimes, and they don't line up necessarily, or they don't tend to line the bullet up as nice. So I've got, for instance, I think it's my 45 set is made up of like 3 or 4 different die sets to get one that I like all of the pieces, and they all do exactly what I want them to do. But I like Lyman all right, and some of their new die sets I think are probably pretty damn smooth. I haven't bought any of their like fancy ones that are
MSR dies or something.
Yeah, I haven't bought any of those yet.
I had to look that up. I was like, MSR, what is that? Maybe I'm gonna text Nathan and
Malcolm Smith Racing is all I know. Yeah.
And I was thinking about you. I was like because of the dies. Okay, let's just not thinking about you. But
no, that's all right, man. That's all right. I'm not.
But I was curious because I know I'm like that with my pistol loads. Basically, I've got one die that does something, and another die that I like it. Different brands. RCBS, and I got a cedar die for something else, and I got a Lee factory crimp, and I'm like, I got a mixture of dies, and I was assuming rifle was like that, but and then you get mixed reviews reading stuff. That's one thing about reloading. If you read a review from this person, an item's got 5 reviews, it's gonna be mixed reviews. Some people gonna love it, some people gonna hate it. So I was like, I'm gonna have to ask somebody. So,
and you always have to read in between the lines, because there's always that like guy who writes like a horrible review because he didn't know how to set up his dies. So you just kind of have to. It's hard to tell. MSR to me means Malcolm Smith Racing, but that's going back to the days of dirt bikes and shit. So when I saw that, I'm like, where are they getting that from? Yeah, I have no idea, man. I guess my shortcoming in rifle is that I haven't done a lot of cast rifle shooting. And so because of that, cast bullets to me makes everything a little bit more finicky. As far as bullet fit and all that stuff, and I'm not into that 3,000 yard shooting. So yeah, I mean my rifle dies are usually Lee, but I'll get RCBS just as quick. Those are my 2 go-to for rifle. Handgun, I typically go Hornady, Lee. It depends. I'll bounce back and forth. I even got some RCBS in there too.
Well, I'll have to tell y'all. So I did the research, and the MSR on Lyman's dies, not on all of them. It's their newer set of dies. It's modern shooting rifle. So I was just like, hey, this guy. So I have to tell y'all again. This is what I seen: 450 Bushmaster, a 4 set of dies with the case gauge, the checker. I had it in my cart. It was like $69. This morning I got alerted dropped to 62. I was like, should I text him? I was like, and as soon as you said that, you was like, you gotta say it. I was like, oh. See me, I'd send it back to Amazon. Send those back to Amazon. But that's a good price, I think. I checked everywhere else. That was the lowest I could find.
Yeah. Like I said, that's probably has a lot to do with the auto, and I imagine that it's designed to feed better in autos, is what that probably means. I don't know, maybe somebody else in the chat. You guys in the chat, all 13 of you? 13? That don't seem right.
I need to refresh my screen. That's what, because I'm seeing 10.
I'm seeing 10, but I wanted to give a good shout out first off to Ocean. Thank you for the press. I hadn't seen JCM 45 yet. Okay, Fuzz. All right, easy. I hadn't seen JCM 45. We spent quite a bit of time on the phone And he was like, I don't understand your questions. You know, you say you have all these questions. And I started talking to him, and he goes, well, it's simple. It's this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, but all you load is shotgun, right? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay, load me up some 308 precision ammo. And he goes, I don't know. I don't know where to start. I said, exactly. And we just had a good conversation. But Ocean, here you go, sir. I gave Jamie the first one. This is the second one. Number 4 buckshot. Thank you, Uncle Jim. I don't know if you're here yet, but there you go. Perfect crimp. Everything worked beautifully. Thank you so much, everybody that had anything to do with this. It's a pleasant experience, and I'm really enjoying it.
That's awesome, Kyle. That looked like the perfect starfish.
Oh,
Just did that. The crimp. That was good. Good stuff.
mm.
So
I did it a little under my breath.
Roosted Films says, darn, all y'all so deep into this, you have custom die sets. I'm not sure what press the body gets started. Man, that's a good question. Phil Rivers tells you to be careful what you say, which is probably it's kind of funny.
Phil, mean it.
Man, we've talked about that quite a bit, and the honest to goodness answer is depends on what you're wanting to load, right? If you're wanting to load shotgun, there's presses that are good for that. If you're wanting to do high volume handgun, there's presses that are better for that. If you're wanting to do precision rifle, like I said, there's the type of press is really dependent on what you're wanting to do. However, I am a believer, and I know there's some people that aren't. A single stage press will always come in handy later on down the road, and I like
need a $40 lead. Whatever. What do they call it? Classic C or Challenger or something?
Well, the Challenger's like $40 or whatever. I like the classic cast, which is a little bit heavier duty, a little bit more expensive. And you do resizing on it, and you can do, all kinds of different stuff later on if that's what you're into. So I'm a big fan of the single stage as a first press to get started, to get your hands on one set of dies and get going. But I know others disagree. Hell, Chico started right with the Dillon 650, but
I don't disagree with that thought process, period, because I started with the 550 Dillon. And ever since then, I've got a Lee single stage, because there's certain things that that's all you need to do, just
Yep.
one process. I think the thing to do is start out, and that would be on the cheaper side of everything. Just get you a single stage press. Yes, there's a bunch of die set up and all that stuff, but that actually teaches you what's going on, what you're doing. You get way more familiar with it. All you need is a $40 Lee press, and you can start making your own ammo.
yeah, Michael Son says the Lee 4-hole classic press is a turret press is a great starter. I agree with him. That's another great press. Those presses that you can run as a turret, you can run as a single stage, and you can run auto indexing. That provides you a hell of a lot of value for, $120, $130. Kyle, did you get your ears lowered, brother? You look good.
I just trimmed up a little bit. That's all.
Yeah.
High and tight, man. High and tight.
Hey, man, that's the only way to go. Kingpin says, I'd just rather buy an ammo factory. It seems cheaper, or it seems easier. Yeah, it would be easier, but I don't know if it'd be cheaper.
Wasn't there a press called an ammo factory?
Yeah.
Dale.
Makes one.
Who was it? Dillon?
Warren.
That's their fully automated progressive.
And it's not cheaper.
Yeah.
Once you buy all the doodads that go on that thing, you've spent some money.
Yeah. I bet. Roosted says he wants to start with 44 mag, but also like do some flexibility with high output. That Lee 4-hole classic cast turret. Hell, I don't know. That Lee damn turret press is good stuff for that. Some people
Got a
saying
lead
Hornady.
I love it. I actually load more on it than I do my Dillon. Oh, but if I go to 9mm or something like that, then I use my Loadmasters because that's what I bought them for. So
Yeah, I don't know about the Hornady, guys. I own one. I'm not 100%. Yeah, I'm not 100% on them.
yeah, there you go. Julio just said the ammo plant costs over $1,000 with all the gizmos. Yeah. So I'm saying I don't know if you saved a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it is expensive. This is the die set I got there, Chico. The Hornady set. It actually the thing on the front stuff looks like it's an older kind, but I know it's not. I know it's new. They just kind of the printing actually looks like an old Lee die set. I don't know. It's weird. They changed fonts on me or something.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, so I'll tell you one thing that I have found is that different back to some of what we were talking about earlier and what we're going to be talking about is different die sets, especially when you're talking about sizing dies, provide slightly different results on your sized brass. And I'm not just talking about your ID of your neck either. Like the OD of your, the base of the case. Some of them, like what we were talking about with the small base dies, they tend to go down further. So they'll get a little bit more of the case head so that your case head area doesn't swell. There are some differences when you're talking about case sizing dies. And I know this is a small one, but this is one that I've run into so much so that I bought 3 different die sets, and all 3 of them have been wrong. It was 32 H&R mag. Every die set I've tried, Hornady, RCBS, and Lee, all oversized the cases dramatically, and I have no idea why. It's the most crazy. Like, I don't know if they're using that carbide ring from another die, and they just don't want to actually make one that's the right size, so they're cheaping out or what. But every one of them was bad. I'm thinking about now I'm going to have to try to go get a steel die.
Let me introduce our special guest for the night. Y'all say hello to Mr. Walter Coates.
How you doing
Hey,
today,
Coach.
sir?
Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry it took me so long to get you a good link over there.
Oh, that's okay. I'm a computer retard, so I had to just resort to using my iPhone to get the link to work. So,
Good evening, sir. I'm sorry I muted myself because I'm trying to accomplish other tasks, but good to see you, man.
what's up, Kyle?
Oh, living the dream, just trying to figure out whose nightmare it is.
That was an Alice Cooper song, wasn't it? Welcome to my nightmare.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Don't want your kids to grow up to be weirdos, do you? Oh, Alice Cooper.
So, Walter, how's your week been, sir?
Well, not too bad. Not too bad. The wife's still trying to get back to 100% after having the heart attack, and they went and messed up a bunch of her medications. So she's trying to get her thyroid levels back on order too. My wife has Graves' disease as well, so it's been a little rough, but we're getting there.
Dang, man, I'm sorry to hear all that.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know. That's terrible.
Didn't know, brother.
That makes me ashamed for inviting you to try to get on here tonight, but we're glad to have you, man. We're really
I'm glad to be here at least for a bit. This is why I've had to bail the last couple of weeks. I've just had issues with her health, going on. It kept me from having an hour or two to spend with you fellas. So
Yeah,
We
Jamie,
definitely appreciate it.
and I'm sorry to hear about everything that's going on, but we're really glad to have you here, man.
well, I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
But we was I'm changing out my press right quick so we can talk a little bit about sizing cases if y'all want to.
I can do that if that's what you want to do. How you doing tonight, Curtis?
Hey, somebody go through the side chat.
Chico, ain't that your game now?
Sure. Yeah, I'm getting better at it. Not good, but I'm getting better. More better. So let's try this without fumbling. All right, Michael Sines is out there. William C. Chaplin as Curtis. Fuzz T. Fork, 8. Jesse B. Outdoors. Phil M. Rivers. Sean Teenery. Charles Irby. Vanessa Kitty. Kingpin. Reloader 762. Ocean 374. Simpson Road Larry. Chris 338. Vanessa Kitty. Mario Mosen. Cameron Braden. Seven Wonders is out there. Larry K. Webb, hello. 67 Rebel, SST-AMC, as Uncle Jim says. Roosted Films. And that is all at the moment in my list. Thanks, guys, for being here. And Philip Smith, he just popped up.
So, Walter, what part of the world do you live in? Oh, he's gone. He'll be back.
Away.
Wow, what's going on at your house?
Something exciting, I hope.
Sounds like baby girl needs a drink.
Whoa, easy.
Yeah, I saw that,
Put
Fuzzy,
that
that
in the bottle. No.
Georgia boy's got some new bullets, doesn't he?
Golly, does he? And I believe they came from somebody that's with us here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And those are beautiful bullets. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, they were. I seen it. I was like, ooh, that look like when he said 45-70, I started grabbing my shoulder and I started doing this for a living.
Ain't that bad. Talk to us about it, Walter.
Well, I decided to go ahead and send some of those to Richard. I run them around 1,400 feet per second out of my Marlin 1895 using 30-31. And they're really not that bad as far as felt recoil, but they probably go clean through anything on this continent at that speed. So kind of a win-win.
Right.
Well, that size of bullet, if you shot it straight up in the air, the terminal velocity of it going back down would go through most things on this planet.
You know, Coates Brothers, I was curious because his video, if you don't mind talking about it, he said you had Accurate Modes design that for you?
He had mentioned that, and I corrected him in the comments.
Okay.
I didn't have Tom design it for me. It was an existing design.
Okay.
And there's I forget the name of the company that makes factory ammunition, but they call that the Sledgehammer design. And you can get that exact same profile in anything from a 300 grain all the way through like 500 grain. But they're all the same nose profile, so they'll all feed through the Marlin lever gun. I just kind of opted for the traditional, 405 grain weight, but it's been just a great. I don't know if any of you guys have an Accurate mold, but they're some of the nicest molds to work with. They're a little pricey, but they're just beautiful.
It was a nice looking bullet.
They're in the same ballpark with NOE. I think they've been around a lot longer, but yeah, those are some nice molds.
Well, the thing with Tom over there at Accurate is you can tell him exactly what you want. He will bend, mold, modify an existing mold to your exact specs or cut you something completely custom. And you tell him exactly what alloy you're using. He will make you an honest to God, true custom mold and will not charge you 1 penny more than an existing mold out of his catalog.
That's a good business, man. I like to hear that.
And he has a very fast turnaround for custom stuff. You usually don't have to wait any more than 3 weeks, and it's usually less than that.
That's actually pretty fast. I mean, if I was running a machine shop and somebody came to me with some off the wall specifications, it'd take me a minute, you know. So,
Yeah, Tom's a true professional, and he'll do anything from a 1 to 5 cavity in either steel, brass, or aluminum.
yeah, they have an excellent selection. They really do.
Yeah, he's a good fella. Just
So
don't try to call him on the phone.
I wanted to take a second to say hello to Will at Just in Time Prepping, and Thorzak joined us, and welcome to those guys in addition to everybody else, and Phil. And I can't do this. I'm gonna start saying hey to everybody before I know it. But Walter, anything you think we really need to understand about sizing our rifle cases? You know,
Sizing your rifle brass?
yeah. See, a couple of weeks ago, we started talking about loading for rifle, and we talked about it most of the evening, and then we realized that there's a whole lot to that we didn't even talk about. So last week we started talking about case prep, and then this week I thought we might ought to talk a little bit about sizing our cases. And again, like Kyle says, how you go about doing that is going to be determined by what you want to do with that cartridge once you finish.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It really depends on what you're looking to do with the rifle round. Recently, in the past couple of years, I've gotten into trying to do some of the more extreme long range shooting with jacketed bullets, and that's where stuff really starts to show up on target as far as being, as precise or as consistent as possible. So my brother and I, we've invested money in a nice annealing machine and just trying to not move the brass any more than we have to. We're bumping shoulders and neck sizing with bushing dies and trying to, from a fired case, just keep the movement to a minimum, for several reasons: to prolong brass life and just as consistent as possible, but yeah, it really depends on what you're looking to do. You can make it as complicated or as as easy as simple as you want, but I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I need a more specific question.
Well, basically what I'm doing is just hunting type rounds, particularly in my 35 Remington. I hope you've seen a couple of those videos anyway. And
yeah,
when I got the Mauser, Curtis blessed me with a set of RCBS dies, bullet seating and neck sizing. Then he gave me a full length sizing die. So I've got all three of those that I can use. Maybe next week we'll talk about bullet seating and crimping and stuff like that. You got to be careful with that you're not crimping and seating your bullet at the same time. But I need to dig in this case over here and find some of those dies, and we'll expand on that thought. We can size just our necks, or we can do the full length sizing die. And a lot of you older guys out there has been reloading a while, especially Dave and Thorzak, and some of you guys, and Walter, you particularly, that do the long range thing, know more about this than I do. Obviously, I'm just loading for lever guns and shooting them 100 yards, 25, 50, 100, 125 yards, and I'm about putting meat in the freezer. So it's been said that, and we've heard this ever since we started, that for bolt guns and single shot, you can get by with just neck sizing or bumping your shoulder back. But for semi-autos and lever guns, any kind of hunting rounds, you need the full length size all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I've got 2 lever guns, and I just don't think that I'm going to be full length sizing all the time. I think when I get some Fireform brass, as long as you're keeping everything clean. I understand you don't want a failure out in the woods, particularly when you got a shot on a deer or something. Is my thinking wrong there?
No, you're right, Jamie. The only problem you're going to run into at some point, and you'll be able to use just the neck sizing only for a time or two, maybe even 3 on the lever gun. But you got to think that a bolt action rifle has a severe amount of cam action, so you can really, it's a lot more force to close the bolt as opposed to just dropping the lever down. So once that brass starts to grow just a little bit, you're gonna run into issues a lot quicker than you would in a bolt action gun. That's why they always recommend a full length size for semi-autos and lever guns. They just don't have the same, camming action, chambering around as a bolt gun.
I understand. And in my mind, and maybe Kyle can expand on this a little bit, or you either one, Walter. Eventually, no matter what kind of the action your rifle is, eventually you're going to have to full length size it back to SAAMI specs and start the process over again. You're correct, and that's why I've adopted in some of my long range rifles. It's just kind of a 2-die set. I'll bump the shoulder back to what it was with a brand new. If you take a brand new full length sized, brand new case, fire it once, measure from the head to the datum line, and get your measurement there. I'll bump the shoulder back 1 thou or 2 from that, and then also neck size in conjunction to that. So you're essentially full length sizing the whole case, but you're not running it all the way back down to SAAMI specs. But you're still moving the shoulder and resizing the neck. But, like I said, bolt guns are a different evil than lever guns and autos. Okay, let me grab a case here. I don't want to sound too oversimplified for the advanced guys, but we got a lot of new guys. Yeah, that's why I'm getting at, Dave. Okay, so 270 Winchester. Okay. All right. Case mouth, case head, and the body. And we got the web in here, what we was talking about last week. So when we're saying we're full length sizing, we're sizing everything. We're sizing the diameter of the body, we're sizing the diameter of the neck, and we're also sizing the shoulder and the angle of the shoulder and the mouth. But when we neck size only, all we're doing is returning this part back to have the proper neck tension on the bullet.
Correct.
Okay. So with that being said, when we neck size only, we still want to knock this angle here back about 1 to 2 thousandths.
Correct.
Okay, so when we say we're bumping the shoulder, we're bumping this back 2 thousandths. And we do that by turning in or out our full-length sizing die.
You can do it that way, yes. And the best way to measure all these dimensions is if you don't already have a comparator kit to hook to your, digital calipers. Hornady sells a real nice set for, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of like $30. But
damn, if I wasn't on that porch, I'd show it to you.
and it would look like this.
That's what I'm talking about.
It would, yes.
You have one of these, Nathan?
No, sir.
It actually makes a big difference because you can. And Jamie, I'm sure you're gonna. You're more prepared than me. You're going to show here in a little bit. This is a shot case. This is a full-length resized case. And if you do it to the die manufacturer's instructions, it'll reset it to this. But you can change that. And that'll actually improve. Well, I'm talking bolt gun stuff again because that's where my accuracy stuff is. But you can adjust the die to get it back. You can bump the shoulder back to exactly where you want it to match your chamber. That's what that whole thing is about.
I'll see if I can figure out how to do this, and we'll do a slight demonstration, as if nobody knows how to use that.
But Jamie,
Well, I've got my stuff pulled up too, but I'm on the back porch enjoying my pipe.
there again, Jamie, as far as bumping shoulders and stuff, if you're more concerned with your 35 Remington than a lever gun, that's really, I mean, that kind of stuff isn't necessary in that sense. You know what I mean? This is more.
It's kind of null and void in a lever gun because you don't have that steep a shoulder to worry about. But yeah, but Jamie's going to give us a perfect demonstration. Please stand by because here it comes.
Okay, before I get into that, let me show you what Walter's talking about. This is a 35 Remington case. And if you can see just how small the shoulder really is right there, I mean, it's minuscule. It really is. Because this is basically a 30-06 round, 30-06 piece of brass cut down and then necked up to 358. So we don't have a whole
Put
lot.
you on the spot, except for yes, I was. So here you go. Rock out, brother.
I got to get my stuff situated here, but I'll be working on that.
Hey, we talked about this not less than 2 hours ago. You should have been prepared.
Thanks for the help, brother. I thought you were going to drag your stuff out too, man.
My stuff's over there on the reloading bench. I'm just not anywhere near it.
Okay. You can get one of these little anvils to go on your stationary side. What you got to do is make sure you're getting both of them on the same side. And you also need to bear in mind that the number that you're going to get right here is not a distinct measurement. It's a comparative number because you got these. I got dial calipers. If you had a digital caliper, you could zero it out and you'd be fine. You could get an actual dead on measurement.
Okay, let me get done here, and I'll go inside and I'll show you what he's talking about. I didn't know you didn't have digital calipers right there on your bench, but I'll handle it.
Come here.
Wait a minute. Looks to me like Walter's taking care of. Oh, he's just picking up his dog. Sorry.
Hey Kyle, I was gonna ask you, do you have Prince Albert in a can?
Better let it out.
No, I don't, but I do have Molto Dolce sent to me from the Crazy Scotsman, who should be waking up about any time to
Saw
go
him
to work.
earlier pop in, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, I can't see the side chat. That's some good stuff right there. I like it.
Well, everyone, I want to welcome Lord Spike to the video.
Hello, Spike. Lord Spike, I'm sorry.
Lord Spike.
I do not want to disrespect his title.
He is a very anxious little crazy chihuahua, but I love him.
Cute.
We got a new dog too, Walter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She just showed up on the back porch. And she's
And you
in
kept
yonder and
feeding it.
other.
You kept feeding it.
I'm kind of surprised y'all can't hear her in the background. Okay,
Mm.
here we go. This is our anvil up here, and this is our holder, and this is the bushing. And let's start with a factory round that we're going to assume. You know what you get when you assume, right? But we're going to assume this is Sammy minimum. And so you just kind of put it in there and close it up and let it get to the datum line. You got to turn it around. Make sure you're getting your proper reading. And with all these bushings in here, I'm at 4, 2, 3, 8.5.
If you say
Do
so,
it this way.
I understand.
Okay.
If you say so.
All right. So that 4, you really don't need to you don't need to even think about. So we're at 2, 4.239, 8.5. Okay. So now, most time I have to write that down. Can y'all remember 0.238 and a half?
4.238.5. Got it.
Now we put this fired round in there, and we turn it around to get our, and we have this one is 4.243.
You're going to have to bump the hell out of that.
Yeah, that's a difference of 4.5 thousandths.
Okay.
Which is a lot. I mean, actually, if you think about it.
But from a brand new, unfired case to a fired case, I would just bump it 1 to 2 thousandths and see if the chamber's back in your gun.
Now,
Which is what I wanted to talk to you about. That's when annealing comes in. You're gonna
get the whole gamut when you start asking people about annealing. You're gonna get guys that say anneal once every 10th loading, once every 5th loading. I'm at the point where, for my
the way I'm looking at it, from the max to the min that Jamie's talking about, I would go ahead and resize that and then anneal it. That way everything relaxed. And the next time it might not be so bad.
Well, like I said, when you're shooting out to 2,000 yards, consistency is everything. So I have gotten into the habit. I anneal after every single reloading because my loads will be identical to every single time they go in the gun. They're going to be the same as they were the previous time.
Yeah, I mean, that makes
Bump
sense.
the shoulder, size the neck, anneal the case every single time.
Yeah. I mean, here, I've got this question about that comparator tool, and this is just me being me. What I don't understand when I have a hard time going and buying a tool. I don't understand what its purpose is.
Well, on what Jamie was just showing you, that's measuring your headspace.
Yeah, but you can actually measure your headspace. Like, why would I want
That's
that?
what he's doing right there.
Well, yeah, but that's a comparator. It doesn't actually measure your headspace, though. Like, that's what I don't understand. Why?
It gives you dimensions
it
from a
depends
piece of
on
full.
if that particular cartridge was fired out of your weapon. If it's fired out of your firearm, you now know exactly what it is. So if you get some once fired brass and you want to start to reload, you know where to bump it back to.
Once fire brass. I mean, I guess, but I just don't see. I mean, once fire brass. Whenever I pick up once fire brass, I resize it all the way, and then it fire forms to my gun. I'm not. I wouldn't try to bump the net back and mess with it because
the thing about it is, once you fire it from your firearm, now you know.
Right.
And if the brass has been worked that much, you probably want to anneal it just to relax it back down. That's when you start getting split case necks and stuff like that.
Nathan, if you have a piece of fired brass from your gun, you can measure it and know what the head of the datum line is, and then you can just bump it back about a thou from there. That's what those comparators are great for. So you're not just moving the brass any more than you have to.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Is basically all you're really going to do then is you're using that to determine exactly how much you brought it back.
That's exactly right.
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I just from what I've done, it's just like I just break it back a little bit, and then I try it, and then I try to feed it into the rifle, see if it fits well. If it does, then I'm good. If it doesn't, I just take it down a little bit.
And you're exactly right. And that, like the old school way I used to do it before I ever knew of these tools, was you would smoke the neck, bump it a little bit in the die. It's the exact same thing. This just gives you a hard and fast way to read numbers and not.
You don't want to overwork the brass.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I've done everything, or I guess I learned to reload from people that have been reloading since the 70s and stuff. So I have a lot of like older ways of doing stuff, and some of these.
Hey, you and me we're in the same exact boat. This is all new to me in the past 2 to 3 years because I think I'm about your same age, mid-40s.
Yeah.
Learned from guys that did this in the 60s and 70s, and that's how I always did stuff too.
Yeah, so when I see people with like their the one that does the bullets to try to get your seating depth, I'm like, just use a wooden dowel down the bore. What do you just measure the difference? What do you do?
No, but I also have the other set of gauges for measuring off of the ogive of the bullet. And those are
See, that's when I still do it the old the bullet comparator. Yeah, see, I still do it the old way with just a wooden dowel and just measuring for my bolt face and then putting the bullet up in the barrel.
There's nothing wrong with doing it that way either. It's just
it's just interesting.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah, it's just weird because I think it's one of those things like I get from my dad is it's like if I cannot buy that and do it just as well, then I'm probably not going to buy that. That's why I was wondering because I was confused by that tool. I was just like, what in the hell would you use?
Well, and like I said, I think to some extent, some of these newer tools are just a little bit more precise. And if you're never shooting past 300 yards, it's not going to be worth your time or your money to invest in all these newer gizmos and gadgets. But trust me, from a guy that knows shooting at 2,000 yards and beyond, everything at that point makes a huge difference.
I bet
that's where these things really shine and try to help you to make smaller groups. But you're right, and I lose what's the word? I forget sometimes that not everyone lives in an area like me to where I have endless miles of BLM to where I can go shoot at 3,000 or 4,000 yards if I had the equipment. I talk to guys like, I don't have a spot where I can shoot 200 yards. It's unavailable. And I'm like, you're kidding me.
Yeah, that's
The
crazy.
East Coast, the Eastern Seaboard is just a crazy place, and I'm like, you should move.
Yes, sir. It does make a difference if what's your usage, and it sometimes is kind of hard to keep that like you said. Sometimes I lose that view as well, and have a habit of thinking that people are doing kind of sometimes the same stuff as I am. It's just a matter of perspective, I guess. But that is that's interesting because that's one of the things I try to talk to, especially with some of the younger reloaders, is that if you're depending on your application is going to have a big difference on what tools you need, what loading procedures you need to do. I mean, if you're going to be hunting, just read the instructions.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to be hunting out of 300, 400, 500 yards, now we need to get a bit more precise. But if you're shooting a deer with your 30-30 here at 75 yards.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. These new guys that are really getting new into reloading, and like you said, that are just concerned about hunting. They're like, oh, I'm only getting 3-shot groups at 1.5 inches at 100 yards. I'm like, you're golden. Stop right there. That's all you need, brother. If that's your goal, you're there. You don't need to look any further. Don't waste time, components, barrel life. You're there. If you're trying to split hairs at 500 yards, yeah, work on it. But you got to prioritize stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a little while back, Simpson Road Larry said he didn't realize it was that crucial. And I think y'all answered that question. Depends on what you're going to be doing, if it's that crucial or not.
Everything depends on what you want to do. I was on a kick for a while. I've kind of been away from it for a little bit, but I was trying to get extreme accuracy at long range with cast bullets at high velocity. That's a whole nother can of worms there. I was running 308s, 165 grain lead bullets at well over 2,600 feet per second at 500 yards and holding under 2 MOA accuracy. But, you start getting into some tricky stuff there. And mainly it's just understanding alloy, how the alloy works under those pressures. Bullet lube really comes into play. Not to mention just having the fundamentals to do that with jacketed bullets, which isn't really that complicated, but cast stuff is just a whole nother realm of, it just, it's a whole
I remember some of those videos. It's crazy what you have to get into with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that
is why we're here, brother. I mean, that's what we're talking about. All the crazy stuff and the crazy means that you have to do. You can just full length 3 sides, load it, boom, shoot it. That's not always the case. And
Right.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. I was wondering why nobody heard anything. But yeah, you're right. When you start getting into longer range cast bullet stuff, I hope they're gas checked. You're looking for repeatable accuracy, and I would say as a cast bullet, out of what I shoot, 300 yards / meters, whatever, however you want to put it, should be about where you're looking for. If you're looking for longer range stuff, you're gonna have to adapt your bullet.
Well, I was just also just banging steel. I'm not looking to take game at any kind of distance.
Right.
I'm just out there goofing off.
Yeah, I totally understand. I love the.
that's some kind of goofing off, brother. That took a heck of a lot of time and energy and effort and exacting to goof off.
What do my kids are out of the house. I don't have anything better to do, Nathan.
Yeah, what was it? The egg challenge where everybody was trying to shoot an egg?
I missed out on that because I didn't get my YouTube channel up and going before that was a thing. I saw some videos of that and I thought that looks fun. I should try that sometime.
Yeah.
Yep. That was very enjoyable.
I had this.
I really enjoyed Kurt. Vaughn's
Vaughn.
Precision.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching that that video series. It was him and his wife, and everybody having fun, and that was really cool. And that's what this whole community's about. You know, it's just really cool.
I had a challenge in mind. I didn't know how many people would ever attempt it, so I haven't done it yet. But I was gonna call it the 6-pack challenge, and it would only be 200 yards, and it would be 6, 12-ounce soda cans or whatever, full with water, at 200 yards with cast bullets. So you get 6 rounds at 6 soda cans at 200 yards. I thought that would be kind of fun.
You and I both know it's not going to be soda cans.
I said soda cans to be politically family friendly.
Hey, I'm
No,
all
they'd be
about
Bush Light cans.
I'm all about it. Yeah. well, Bush Light is kind of like soda. So,
That's about a 1.5 MOA. That's not that bad.
I thought it would be fun, but I haven't done it yet because I don't know how many people would even attempt it, because I know there's not a lot of dedicated cast bullet rifle shooters.
I'm in. Jamie, you willing to come down?
Well, it's challenging, but not so challenging that people can't do it, and it's short enough distance to where the East Coast guys can play too.
And that was my other thought, because like I said before, I know a lot of guys, I get spoiled out here being on the left coast, in the wild, wild west and the great wide open, that not everyone has all the crazy ranges we do. But I thought, most people should be able to find 200 yards.
Yeah.
Jamie, Nathan, Chico, let's set a weekend.
Does Chico shoot cast rifle bullets?
Not yet.
I don't pass for a rifle at all, but I will be soon. I'll be reloading for rifle, and I'm gonna reload. And I know it's so regular 223 and then 308 because I already have the dice. So
Dude,
I've got a few.
Chico, the 308. You start with the 308. Do yourself a favor. You're gonna have nothing but damn headaches playing with that 223.
No shit.
Me. Listen to me here, brother. I've been doing that. I've been playing that game for 20 years. That'll spin your head. The 308 is easy to get cast to shoot well in. Okay?
Okay, yeah. That's what I've been looking for. And I know Jamie's been sending me links to stuff. I gotta pull the trigger on a weapon, but I am gonna do a boat gun, just like a lot of people like, huh? You gonna do a boat gun? I'm like, yeah, it's 308. So
Come over to
I
the
don't plan on
house,
doing like no
Chico.
AR-10.
Now, when you say rifle, what is your stipulation on rifle?
Does
Does it have to be bottleneck?
it's long?
Bottleneck? Can it be a straight wall rifle? Just saying, I got my Henry's got a 45 Colt.
Right.
I've got a lot of time behind it.
That's not a 308.
Well, hold up. I gotta give you more pieces of the puzzle. Along with that 308 dies, I also got 500 pieces of 308 prime brass.
Yeah.
So, so that kind of gets me over the hump, obstacles as far as purchasing brass. I got 500 pieces of 308 brass. So I was like, 308, I got the dice. I might as well get a 308 bolt gun.
308 is one of the best, easiest calibers to get to shoot cast good in. You can do it in most any rifle, any platform. There's a lot of good bullet designs that'll work. Once you decide on a rifle, hit me up on Slack. I'll send you some stuff.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be asking questions, man, because like you said, we don't have that long of a range like you do, like nowhere near what you shoot at. But I know Cal has some connections with some long range stuff down south, and we can definitely.
It ain't that far south. Stop.
Well,
load up some ammo, then we'll go shoot it.
But
Okay,
yeah, so I'm definitely will.
We got a couple of questions for Walter in the side chat. Walter, have you ever shot at Rattlesnake Ridge in Richmond or Tri-Cities?
No, sir.
That's from Thorzax. So, Dave, the answer to that question would be no.
Okay,
Vanessa
that's
Kitty asked,
that was from Dave. Dave lives just north of me, not more than a couple 100 miles. But no, I'm not familiar with those areas.
okay. Vanessa Kitty asked, which caliber do you like most for 1,000 yards or greater?
Boy, 1,000 yards is you can do a lot. You can hit 1,000 yards really easy with 223, 308, 65 Creedmoor, 6mm Creedmoor. I mean, everything.
Well,
Greater than 1,000 yards, I'm a big fan of the 338 Lapua just because I have one and it hits with authority all the way out to 2,000 plus yards.
Make a steel plate beg for mercy.
So,
Got a couple of comments. Chico, that 30-30 shoots good cast, and I'm about to step off into that before too much longer. I also want to start with my 270, get some good cast loads worked up for it. Kyle was with me one day at the range, and we was just messing around with some pistol stuff, and he was doing some Trace Amigo 300 blackout stuff, and I had at 25 yards, I had 3 on top of each other with my 35 Remington lever gun, and I'm like, well, I think I figured out my hunting load, so yeah,
that was a good day. That was a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides the 308, you guys just mentioned the 30-30. That's probably one of the best cast friendly rounds that's out there. Mainly because it's got a nice long neck on it. And man, if you guys got any bolt guns or lever guns in 30-30, I highly suggest running some casts through that. It's super easy to find nice, accurate hunting rounds in that caliber.
What bullet is
It's
that?
the most popular hunting round in the southeast.
Right.
It's the most popular hunting round.
I've also kind of thought that 8mm Mauser would be a good one as well for a little bit higher load.
Yeah.
Good case capacity is good long neck, so you get a good even neck tension on it. The problem would be the guns because you got the head spaces all over the damn place, depending on which one you got and where it was made. But if you had a good 8mm Mauser with a nice throat, I think it would be really good for cast. But
the whole key with cast bullets and rifles for the layman, for the beginner, keep your velocities between 14 and 1,800 feet per second. Life is really simple in those windows. It really is. It really is. Once you start getting to the higher velocities, then you really got to start worrying about barrel twist, alloy construction, pressure spikes with whatever powder you're using to match the alloy of your bullet. So stuff gets complicated after that. But 14 to 18 is real user friendly.
I'd like to do some tests with the 303 at
great cast bullet cartridge.
Yeah.
Keep everything on the low thud mode.
The thuddy.
Yeah, the old Dirty is a pretty good round. I've got a Marlin laying around here that needs to get some love, so I don't know. It'll be interesting.
That 30-30?
Yeah.
No, the 30-30.
It's a 30-30 with wood that needs refinishing so bad I have a hard time looking at it.
Maybe you should call that the Dirty 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may try to persuade my uncle, when I did the video on the two 1890 pumps, the Winnie pumps. I told you he had a Winchester 30-30, and I was like, oh, I need that. I was like, and it didn't have no rust on it compared to those Winnie pumps. And I may try to persuade him a little bit to just let me get that.
Let me get up on that.
Yeah, let me get that from you.
Just to bring it up, did everybody on the panel or did anybody on the panel see the commercial for the new side loading gate Henrys?
No, well, is that the 4? No, hold up. I seen something with it was a 6.5, wasn't it?
3855 is what I think they showed, but I think they're coming out with a whole line that's going to have side loading gates and stuff. So
that would be
we'll see.
awesome.
They said more to come. So it was a really cool commercial. I don't know. It got me excited for it, even though I'm still pissed off because my Henry's got the barrel clocked in it. I need to send that thing back, but I'm so scared to mail a rifle. Isn't that weird? Like the idea of mailing my rifle away after spending almost $1,000 on it, I'm afraid I'll never get it back. And so it's like I don't want to send it in, even though it annoys me.
I've done it a couple times. You'll be fine.
Man, every time I pick it up out of the gun safe, I'm like, damn it. Like it just bugs me because once I noticed it, I was doomed. I had that rifle for a year and shot at open sights and never noticed it. The minute I put a scope base on it, I'm like, that barrel's clocked considerably. How did I not notice that before?
Right.
And then I was wondering why it was, and this is such a stupid. This tells you how little I pay attention to things half the time. I was shooting at Henry before I put the scope base on there, and I was wondering why does this thing pinch my arm so bad? It was because I had the whole rifle twisted in my shoulder,
Right.
so that the sights would line up right, and I just wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah, I definitely send it back, man. I'm sure they'll make it more better.
I'm sure they will. It's just, man, it's just so hard for me to do that. It's like, oh God. Yeah, I need to take it. I got a good gun shop over here. I need to work with him and have him send it in and see if I can get anything done with it. Send them an email probably or call them first. But yeah, that side loading gate sounds awesome. I know Dave or Thorzak said something about it earlier. I just wanted to bring it because we're talking about lever guns.
All right, I'll show y'all my 30 caliber molds. Is 10 man out there still?
Yeah, I seen him out there. He's hanging out there with us.
K. Erdis, yeah, he's around.
Okay, these are just 30 caliber bullets that I have, and I'll start from the lightest and go up, and then. But before I do that, Walter, what was that bullet that you were showing?
That 30 pretty.
That is an NOE. It's a ranch dog mold. And they make two different versions of this. It's 165 grain, 30 caliber, flat point mold. But they make one that's designed specifically for Winchester lever guns. And then they make this one, which is designed for other 30-30s, i.e. Marlins and your Savage bolt action 340s and whatnot. So that's what this one is. And got a nice big flat point on it. And it just hits like a ton of bricks. It's a great little mold. And it works great in my Remington 788 bolt action 308 as well.
Cool. Okay, this is my lightest 30 caliber, and I've shown this a lot lately. This is Lyman 311 410 is the number, and it is a 135 grain design. And it's cast at 311, but I sized it down to 309. And then my next one is 165 grain. This is a NOE, and I think that's the same bullet you've got there, Walter.
That looks very similar, yeah.
If I can keep from dropping it. See
what do you size those to, Jamie?
Do what?
What do you size those to?
309's only 30 caliber size and die I have.
I size every single 30 caliber bullet I have to 311.
Yeah. I was thinking 310, but 311, yeah.
You might give that a try if you're suffering anywhere in the accuracy department. I mean, if you're getting great accuracy, don't stop what you're doing. But something to think about, if you're not getting the results you want, try making the bullets a little bit bigger.
I'll keep that in mind. And I should take a clue because, like I said, this is a Lyman. It's 311. This is NOE. It's 312, I think, 311 or 312.
Yeah.
And then I have two Lee designs. This is um, 309 170 grain, and it's a flat point. I think this one's pretty much designed for 30-30. Y'all can see flat point.
Yeah,
And-
it looks just like this mold that I've got. It's a 180 grain RCBS 30 cal mold.
That's a great mold, Nathan.
It is, because my next one is this one, which is pretty much the Lee knockoff of that same mold. This is a Lee 180 grain gas check, as you can see, but it's a round point. And I don't have a problem shooting these round nose bullets out of a 30-30. I'll just put one in the chamber put two in the loading gate, rack one in there, and just leave one in the magazine,
Sure.
and just load them two at a time.
I was just thinking this 30 cal mold would work in my Schmidt Rubin. That would be fun. See what I can do with lead with it. That, and it would satisfy Willie always yelling at me for not shooting it.
What caliber is that?
7.5 Swiss.
Okay.
So look, can I ask, Coach Brothers? So, and I also plan in the future maybe to load for 7.62 by 39, because I love shooting my AK, and I kind of was assumed and been told that 308 I'll be able to like use that bullet for either or almost probably.
I use a Lee mold that's a 312 155. The mold was designed specifically for the 7.62 by 39, and I run it in my 308 all the time. Because, like I said, I size all my 308 stuff to 311. So, yeah, that mold would be a good dual-purpose mold.
Yeah. So,
especially if it
what
drops
I was thinking, dual purpose. That's what I should think.
It should be powder coated.
Okay. Cool.
I think this one right here, the 135 grain would work good in 7.62 by 39. Particularly if you sized it, it's a 311 is what it's rated at, and it's dropping probably about that. But with the alloy I'm using, instead of 135, it's falling out at about 136.4. And some of the guys out there talking about what they size to. Michael, I'll check into that 3844. I don't know much about it, but I'll do some reading. And Andy, I knew somebody was going to say Elvis, but yeah, I've just sized these, and they still got the bullet lube on them going through the sizer. So that's my excuse, and that's my story. I'm going to stick to it.
And you know, I'm also, since we're talking about sizing a little bit, I'm also thinking, man, and I've been procrastinating. I think I'm going to have to get that NOE size and die or body, because I already have the Lee 9mm and the Lee 45, and I already got two of those containers. So I think one of you guys told me, man, just buy the NOE and then buy the bushings.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
I agree with caveats.
Yeah, because, you know, if I'm ordering for 308 and 7.62, I'm gonna have a lot of these, and I don't even use this one. Well, sometimes.
Well, Chico, once you got the die body, you're just buying individual bushings, so you'll be way money ahead buying the NOE stuff as opposed to buying everything through Lee. You know, spending $26 a pop.
Right.
Bushings are what, $8 or $10 through NOE, so.
Yeah, I mean, my only complaint or my only sidebar to that is that those NOE bushings have a tendency to be a little rough. And if you're going to size a lot off of one, it might not be the best bet. That's just my take on it, though.
Well, hey, I'm glad you spoke up, Nathan, because I wasn't going to say anything, but I've had some very shitty luck with several NOE sizing products, and I'm glad to know that I'm not just the one getting flukes.
No, you're not. Like if I'm going to have to take more than 3/1000ths, 2 to 3/1000ths off my bullet, it's
rough.
Yeah, it is not as good as the Lee. The Lee is a smoother and it's got a bit of a taper to it. Yeah, Toolness 1 went through and kind of polished it and chamfered it and or broke that edge and got a hell of a lot better results with it. I just need to do that. So that's my only beef with them is they are rough.
Well, I found a fix to all this. I just found friends on the internet that are machinists and own lathes. So I have the benefit of working in a manufacturing plant that has a full machine shop and all kinds of steel laying around. So I grab odds and ends of scraps and mail them off to my buddies, and they're more than willing to make me goodies for just material costs. So
That's
That is good.
yeah. Maybe the Lee stuff ain't that bad then, Chico.
Yeah, that's all I was
Right.
saying,
Well,
man.
you
It's
know-
like if you're only taking off like 1 or 2/1000ths, I have never had a problem with the NOE. It's worked great, and I've loved it to death. But I'm just saying, I've got a couple bullets that once you powder coat them, they're pretty damn big, and that NOE just doesn't like them. I broke a press, like actually broke a press trying to do
I
it.
believe you. I bought one of their nose sizing kits for bore riding rifle bullets, and that die was just horrible. I mean, it just gouged the crap out of the bullet, you know. And I don't know.
Yeah, they just need a little bit of smoothing out or something. And I don't know what to say about it because I mean I like Al and he does a lot of good work for all of us. And I'm not trying to bash his shit. I'm just saying that I've had some issues as well.
I agree with that 100%. Al makes great bullet molds, and I own a ton of NOE molds. I just not a real big fan of some of his other stuff, but you know, that's for what it's worth.
Yep.
So can we take a minute and let Chico run through the side chat again?
Sure.
Sure. Let's see. Let me let it stop on this last comment. All right, we got Fuzz T Fork 8s out there. James Pollard, Sean Tenery, Michael Sines, Reloader 762, Vanessa Kitty, West Covina Dodge, James Pollard, and they're real active out here. I gotta go through their names like 3 times. Andy 79Z28, Jeremy Gunslinger. Hey brother. Who else? We have Chris 338 and Simpson Road Larry. Let's see. 10 man's out there. Brody 556, Mario Molson, Big Al, Ocean 374, 67 Rebel, SST AMC. And I think we got a few more. Thorzak still out there, I believe. And that is I'm gonna mess this up. Please forgive me. Ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
Ambiguity. I always do that. And I said it earlier. I said it perfect.
Ambiguity.
Ambiguity. When the heat is on, I mess it up. Sorry, brother. Brother Michael. Sorry.
There's Bacon just popped in.
Loads of bacon. Kingpin. Yeah, and that is all the participants at the moment that's showing up on my last refresh.
And Tread.
And William C. Chaplin.
Oh, so Curtis can hear now, so y'all quit talking about him. He's out of the noisy restaurant now.
Well, hey guys, here in a minute I might have to bail for a few, but I'll be back.
All right, boss. Well, hey, I appreciate the time you put in.
Well, no. It's just the old lady's going to be here in a minute, and I'm sure I'm going to have to go check on her, make sure she's okay and everything. So if I go dark for a few, no sweat, I will return.
Okay, and you know, before you go, I'm gonna say this because I remember the last time we were on the chat. I knew you were in the side chat, and I've still been definitely praying for your wife. So I definitely appreciate the advice on that. Me going 308. So I just want to let you know that your family be in my prayers.
Hey, Chico, I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
Can you guys
Yeah.
see still? I'm getting like a blanked out thing on my end. On
No,
my
we've just
camera.
got your emblem. I don't. Maybe check your battery on your phone. That does that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Battery's dead. Tell you what, I'm gonna plug this in for a bit, but I'll hop back in a while.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Walter.
All right, see you guys.
Yes, sir.
So I see a load here, and I'll tell you, sometimes, man, I see a load and I just get like, that looks good. But that 180 grain bullet with some IMR 3031 behind it and a 3030, that sounds like the right thing to do. I mean, it's just like every once in a while you like, come on, 3031, which is obviously the like universal rifle powder, and a 3030, which is the universal rifle. Oh yeah, that's done. That's done.
Yeah, how can you go wrong with that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the loading.
So Chapin's home and he's loading for the garage.
Yeah, I hear that powder a lot.
What, 3031? Chico?
Yeah, I hear that a lot in forums and everywhere. So
Yeah, it's a good powder. I've used it to great success, especially with loads that aren't exactly right at the tippity top.
It did not do that great in my 35 Remington,
That's true. I remember that. I
but
was very disappointed.
it wasn't awful, but it wasn't the best one. So far, the best one in my 35 has been kind of a tie between TAC and Hodgson H335, that's a good powder.
That tack was nice. I remember you liking that a lot.
I really like TAC in that, and then 223 also. And I would imagine that if it does well in 35 Remington and in 223, it probably worked great in 3030 and 308.
Yeah.
But this 170 grain bullet that I showed y'all, this one right here, that's the one I bought for 3030 because it's got that flat point.
Mm-hmm.
But this 180 grain, yeah, man, how can that not do well in 30-06 or 3030?
Well, that mold I got looks more like that first one than it does that second one. It's got more of a flat point to it, more lube grooves. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be. I'm going to try it. I mean, if I got it, why not? I'll shoot it in every day 30 caliber gun I have, which is most of my rifles. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Now, Kyle was talking about us going shooting together. Where he's off. Never mind.
yeah, it shut down. His battery probably died. He'll probably jump back on.
Yeah.
It's south. He said it's not that far. It's not that far, I guess.
Come on now. Why you got to be an Atlanta person?
Wait, you say, well, I got to be Atlanta.
Atlanta people are like that. If it's below Fulton County Stadium, it's south.
Well,
Or whatever you guys call it now.
It is south. Yeah.
I think it's the airport, Nathan. If it's below the airport, it's South Georgia.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
There
I
you
think
go.
it is. Where did he tell me it was at? LaGrange, maybe?
Yeah, it's LaGrange. Right. So it's in a goofy spot, man. Like LaGrange is kind of, you got a back road for a little bit. It's not all right off the interstate, but it's not bad. I've gone through LaGrange a lot coming from Columbus. There's a back road way I go from Columbus over to 75 that runs me through LaGrange.
It's Highway 27 from here. Just
okay.
27 south through Cedartown, Bremen, Carrollton, then LaGrange, I think. Yeah, LaGrange is in the middle of the state, but very close to the Alabama line. So it'd be west central, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably an hour away from me or something like that.
Yeah, and that's like 3.5, almost 4 for me. because I have no good way to get there. I got to go up and over, or I got to back road it all the way up.
You can
Yeah.
come up 75 and then cut over.
That's the up and over, and it's still 3.5 hours. Back road it takes a little less if I'm lucky. As soon as I get a vehicle, I'm in. Like and I've really kind of changed. I don't know if I've changed my tune on that. I have really been doing a lot of thinking about that. I was deadpan.
About just fixing it.
Yeah, well, I was dead up. What I was gonna do was sell my junk and then go lease a new Toyota Tacoma. That was the plan. Now I'm starting to think sell my junk and go buy somebody else's junk and see if I can get it to do better. So I don't know.
Curtis is talking about US 27 comes through his place too. That used to be one of the main thoroughfares from north to south. It used to be the way to go to Panama City from up here, and some people still do. All the way through Georgia, it's called Martha Berry Highway because of Martha Berry starting the college up here in Rome. And for a long time, it was the largest campus of any college in the world because they owned so much land up there. But they sold a bunch of it off. We built a couple of highways through there, and now it's still the largest in the United States, but second in the world. There's the Emperor. Hey, Tim, glad to see you out tonight. But yeah, cars you can that's another rabbit hole. But it is, I see your point, Nathan. It's kind of hard to strap a bunch of rifles on the back of a motorcycle, ain't it?
Yeah, and you get pulled over when you got them just stuck up off of the back of the bike, like a sissy bar. People just they frown upon it.
Yeah, you got ammo can saddlebags and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I don't know. We'll see.
You know what? They're great cars when they work, and I'll tell anybody that. But so.
Well, dude, here's the thing. Mine's a lemon, and I didn't know it when I bought it because I should have done more research. Mine is the first year of a new of the changeover from the previous, and you know how BMW is when they do an engineering changeover, it's pretty massive, and the thing's just ate up with bugs, and
Yeah.
there's just no freaking way it won't stop. So it's just like I want to get rid of it, and I want to get something that's a little bit more utility for me because I bought the daggum thing. The only reason I bought it was because I had to travel all over the state, and I put 70,000 miles on the thing in 3 years.
Yeah.
So now that I'm not having to do that, like something that's more fitting to what I actually need, because I don't have my truck anymore, I'm really, really leaning towards an old Cherokee. So
those 4 liters. If you get one with a 4 liter in it, that's about the best way you're gonna go engine wise. That straight 6 runs, but a lot of this newer stuff, 3.7, even some of the 5.7s, they're not the most friendliest. I always tell people if you're gonna buy a new car, don't buy the first year production. Do not buy the first year production. Trust me.
Yeah, that's what I got with the BMW. Well, one thing I like. Here's one of the firm beliefs I have. If you have to pull the motor out for what is time-related maintenance on the engine area, it's not probably for you if you're strapped. So if you got to change a water pump and you got to pull the engine, if you got to change a starter and you got to pull the engine, any of that stuff, man. If you're on a budget, you need to get something that's more right for your budget, and that's where I made the mistake. And that 4 liter, like you said, I'm looking for a 2000 or a 2001 4-wheel drive that hasn't been monkeyed with much. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Because
Walter, please tell me you dropped the phone. You didn't fall backwards right there.
Yeah, that was the phone, not me.
Cool.
I haven't had that much wine yet.
We switched to the topic of vehicles. I got to tell y'all, and Chico's rode in it. I'm driving a 05 Toyota Camry that we bought in 2006. It had 33,000 miles on it when we bought it. I'm still driving it, and it's well over 300,000 now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if it falls down in the road tomorrow, I've made money on that car.
Oh yeah.
I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to anyway. My son used to tell a joke, and no, I'm not doing that. That's bad taste. That's warm. About racing Hondas, y'all probably know it, so I won't have to say it. I'm just not going to do it.
Have a good night, Michael. I appreciate you coming out.
Well,
Yeah,
then, you know what? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
No, man, go ahead. I was getting ready to try to go back to reloading, but you go ahead.
I was too. Look, I was thinking the same. So back on cases, sizing and stuff, and I've hear this all the time, but I hear double-edged sword. How important, and I know the answer a little bit, but how important is case lube? Because I see too much, too little. You kind of got to walk in that line, like Walter was saying, between 14 and 1800, velocity. Because too much lube and too little lube is just as bad, right?
It becomes a bigger issue when you're running bottleneck stuff because you'll get hydraulic dents on your shoulders of your rifle rounds. You can overdo it on a 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum, and not know the difference. But when you're running your 30-30s, your 308s, 06, 223, whatnot, you'll start getting those dents in the shoulders. And it's not the end of the world. It's cosmetic. They will fire form back out. But when you see that, that's a good sign of you're using too much case lube on that area of the case.
Got you. And I already know what happened when you don't use enough lube. And I don't know if y'all seen that on my Instagram. I had a stuck case in one of my Dylan dies, and I took it to the shop and put it in our big vise, and I cranked that thing up out of there. I was like, I'm not ruining this die.
So at the end of the day, Chico, you'd rather have dented shoulders than a stuck case.
Definitely. It was ugly. I was like, well, this is probably the first and only time this will happen. I'll never do it again like that.
I've done it once and once only with a 22-250 case. And I thought, son of a bitch, not enough case lube.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
I've done it as well. I thought I was going to end up ripping the rim right off the case, trying to get it off.
Right.
I've ripped rims off the case, especially with 223.
That's what it was?
Yeah. I use Lee dies so I can just take that top out, take the die in there and put it in the vise, and then I take a punch and just beat it out the bottom. And
The
223 is the worst case out there to get stuck, period.
I haven't stuck one.
In my opinion.
I had a guy, I'm sorry, who was it? Was that Walter? Sorry.
Huh?
No, you didn't. You didn't step on anybody.
Okay. Well, I had a guy who's seen my Instagram, and he said, next time, he said, you got that, and I had no idea. Because I got these dies used, right? Don't have no paperwork on them or nothing. When I get something new reloaded, I read the instructions like I never do on anything else. And he said, man, that Dylan die has a built-in case remover. All you had to do is crank it down. And I was like, huh? For real? I didn't know that. I started reading on it. Yep. But I took it to the job and locked it in one of those big, a shop vise. And I didn't care about the brass because I just want to get it out as die without damaging the die. So, yeah, I'll use lube next time.
Do you use do you have a pad, a lube pad, or do you have a different type of method?
No, I'm gonna look like I'm getting a lube pad, or I'm gonna make my own, like Jamie. The heat and the what is it? The lanolin.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys do that. They'll have the lanolin and a little bit of alcohol or whatever in a spray bottle, and they'll just have everything in a box, and they'll just spray it down and roll it around. And I think that probably works just fine.
I'm sorry. I use a plastic bag. I just chunk them in a plastic bag, and then, that stuff.
So here's what I've been doing lately. I use the Hornady One Shot the aerosol stuff for years and years and years. I don't know why. Stuff is expensive, but it works good. Yeah, exactly. There you go, Chico. But then I got turned on to the Hornady Unique little 2-ounce tub
This
of
stuff.
exactly. And that stuff is awesome, and it works great. And I still am a firm believer in it, and I use it when I'm doing real small batches, 20 to 40 pieces. But when I'm moving 80, 100 cases, man, I grab a gallon Ziploc bag, and I made up a batch of there you go, the liquid lanolin and 99% isopropyl alcohol, 10-to-1 in a little spray bottle. And this stuff is amazing, and it's just super cheap, easy to make, and it's gonna last forever.
Yep. I've got this stuff here, which is a Hornady case lube, an older one. It's $4 and I'm only halfway through it, and a lube pad. But I don't load like I haven't loaded yet, like some people do with rifle, because they're shooting autos. When I shoot rifles, I shoot a box at a time, 20, 40,
Right.
50 at the most. If I've got a, most of the time I'm not going to shoot anything over that, because anything that I have personally, when I'm doing bolt action rifle shooting, when I get over 20 rounds, the accuracy starts to kind of droop for me. I need, like, the gun needs to be cleaned or whatever. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's my shoulder. Hell, I don't know. But so I don't shoot as much as you guys do with rifles. But if I was doing like you're doing, no, a box of 223s, I'd get the spray stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you're about into the AR world, and you're going to be going through a lot more. But I got to share one more with you. That's been the most surprising case lube that I've used, and I never would have thunk it, but it works better than anything we've mentioned so far, and that's this crap.
Oh, I use that for other stuff. I use that for a bullet lube, for sizing bullets. That stuff is bang on. It's lanolin is what I think it is.
It is unbelievable.
Yep. And was it you I was talking to, or was it Kenny? Me and several people were talking about that stuff being like, because we used to get it in, I think we got it in the old bullet sizing kits or something. We would get that stuff in, and I had tons of it laying around at one time. That stuff is amazing for bullet sizing.
I got that tube when I bought my turret press. It came in the kit.
I've never tried that stuff. I've never had any.
Well, what I do with those bullets that are going to be really hard to bullet size, I squirt a little bit of that because I use plastic totes a lot of times. I'll squirt just a little bit of that plastic tote and then just roll that tote around so the bullets kind of stir, and then I go ahead and do it, and it's much better. Bless you.
Oh, man, excuse me.
Yeah.
Look, I got another question for Coates.
Yeah.
I know. So look, you're shooting at those extreme distances that somebody like me would never attempt, right? But I'm curious, being that you have to get that precision down to the small fine detail. Do you have like a preferred or your a preferred die maker, basically, like, a certain brand that you favor over another?
Well, for my like real long range stuff, the die that comes in the handiest is the bullet seating die. So I'm a real big fan of the Forester brand ultra micrometer seating dies. Okay. And they're an inline, it's a spring loaded inline bullet seating die that keeps the case and the bullet aligned while you're seating it. That would be my biggest the best thing I could tell you to as far as the long range stuff. That's going to be your best asset as far as making good long range ammo because it keeps the run out, from your bullet just down to minimal.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, I use a lot of the bushing neck sizing dies, which are very helpful. But the real long range stuff, the bullet seating die is critical. Redding makes some really good high end stuff. Maybe even better than the stuff I'm using, according to their cost.
Yeah.
But the Forester stuff, those seating dies, they run about $79 a piece, which is considerably cheaper than the Redding. But they're micrometer adjustable down to the half thousandths.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the stuff that we use.
Cool. Good.
And I can
Good.
see
Thanks
how
for
that
that.
would be important.
Yes, I do too. I definitely do. And he said my micrometer seating died. I was like, and I've seen some of those in the big box stores, but like Hornady or something. And I was like, I'm saying in my head, this can't be that good. It's on the shelf at Academy. Like, that's what I was thinking. But I've seen another manufacturer, and they're not a big manufacturer. I believe it's a guy who has he does, I forget what it is, the name of it, I can't think of, but he's on my Instagram. They make bullet seating dies, and it's I've heard a lot of stuff about them, so I just figured you may have a mixture of dies. Like a seating die would be something else, and your crimping die if you crimp. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of options out there. Me personally, my main setups for like my 6.5 Creedmoor, my 308, and the 338 Lapua, I run RCBS gold medal match, sizing dies, and then I run the Forester Ultra micrometer seating dies.
Cool.
But there's lots of other options, and like I said, the Redding stuff is always you can't go wrong there. I was just trying to save a little bit of money trying to go the RCBS and Forester route, but get yourself some good tools, for checking run out and stuff like that. If you're into trying to hit targets at long distances,
Right.
you know what I mean? I get worked up sometimes talking about this kind of stuff to some guys. Are like, well, I only shoot at 300 yards, and I'm like, well, you're picking the wrong brain then, because it's not that hard to shoot, baseball or softball sized targets at 300 yards. You can use your Lee factory dies, and hell, even out to probably 500 yards, for a lot of applications. It's just that real nitty gritty way past the extended long range stuff is where it really starts to matter with that high end stuff. So I really kind of I shy a lot of people away from, don't waste your money unless you're already, can you consistently hit an 8-inch plate at 600-700 yards? And if they're like, yes, I'm like, okay, so you want to go to the next level, so let's get into some of this stuff. But if they're just, if you're not doing that, man, I wouldn't worry about wasting your money on the high-end dies. Everyone on the internet, Facebook, wants to sell you that kind of stuff, but you don't need it. You really don't need it. You can do amazing things with $30 Lee dies, because I've done it myself. Trust me, I've seen me do it.
Cool, definitely, man. I definitely appreciate it. I respect people who tell you that it doesn't take that to do this unless you want to go you know what I mean? Unless you want to go further than.
Well, and it's the truth. And if you work yourself through the steps, you'll see where you hit the wall with your equipment.
Right.
Once you start to progress through your shooting abilities, you'll find when you need to move up in the equipment, because you'll know that your shooting abilities aren't the issue. It's your equipment.
Correct. Well, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks. That's good.
Hey,
info.
no problem. Man.
The only thing I ran into, I got 2 sets of Lee rifle dies, and it's only 2 sets that I've had like this, and the damn thread pitch on the bullet seating plug was so steep that you could not properly catch your seating depth. There was too much slop in the plug, as far as where it says it's in the die, and the thread pitch was so steep that one little movement would move you 3 or 4 thousandths. And I was like, I had to go get RCBS dies because I could not set my bullet seating depth where I wanted it.
Yeah.
And every other Lee die I've had has not been like that. It was just a couple rifle die sets. I don't know if it was a thing they tried at some time and they got away from it or what, but
if I'm being honest with you, Nathan, I mean, I love Lee, a lot of Lee products, and if it's handgun stuff, I'll buy them blindly. But if I'm any sort of precision rifle stuff, I kind of tend to avoid them just for that. Not that I think it's gonna happen, but there's the chance that it might. So I'll either upgrade to the, RCBS has always been real good. Their customer service is nice. I don't own hardly anything Redding. I own a couple body dies. I own a 6.5 and a 338 Lapua body die just for bumping shoulders, but Forrester makes great products. But then again, I've only got a couple of really 2 rifles that I'm kind of real serious about the long range stuff that I try to buy the higher end dies and stuff for. So everything else though, Lyman, RCBS, Lee, they cover 95% of my needs.
No, I love that Lee factory crimp die for rifles. I love that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially cast bullets. I mean, obviously, specifically cast bullets. I don't crimp jacketed bullets, but no, I agree with you 100%, Nathan. That crimp die for the rifle stuff is money. I own one in numerous calibers.
Yeah, that is an amazing. That's where, I mean, I know that's kind of not where we're necessarily at tonight, but that is one of the things that when you start getting in me piecing die sets together, that's what happens. Is I love the Lee die set, and then there's also, or I like the Lee factory crimp. There's also a Lee neck sizing die that I utilize for my 303. It's real great for that, but it's like I don't like their bullet seating dies as much, and it's just it's funny, man, how like when you're reloading, you can really piece some stuff together. But I've never had those fancy ones. I'd like to buy a set just for something like my Schmidt Rubin or something that I really. And I know that it's not necessary for shooting at 300 yards, but here's where I'm a little bit funny with that one. As I shoot open sights with it, and any little bit helps. When I'm getting out 300 miles.
It's like I've told people, though, well, not in your case, but other people, they're like, well, I'm like, so what's the best group you've shot at, 100 yards? They're like, well, my best rifle group's 1.5 inches, 100 yards, and I want to buy these items and I'm like, you need to work on your fundamentals. You know what I mean? Don't waste your money on this stuff that's going to cut stuff by a gnat's ass if you can't already do these things. And not to be mean to the person, but it's like, I don't want to see you waste your money or your time buying stuff that's not going to fix, just shooter error, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah, you gotta get your priorities right, and sure. We've joked about that before. I've joked about that a lot. I think I've joked about it with Kenny. The guy's showing up with a $3,000 pull cue and can't shoot. It's like,
oh yeah,
like,
well, I've seen guys at the range, custom surgeon action, Krieger barrel, Night Force scope, and he's busting out 15/16 of an inch 5-shot groups at 100 yards. Yeah. I'm next to him with my $249 Savage, rocking 0.4 5-inch groups with my $300 SWFA scope.
Yeah,
I've got $900 into my whole setup, which doesn't even begin to cover a fraction of his rifle, and it's like, you know, I mean, yeah, you gotta gotta have your priorities right.
Yeah, that was one of those times at the range when I think I had first. It wasn't long after I moved down here. I went down and was shooting, and there was a guy down there that had some kind of fancy ass rifle, and he was real super serious about it. And I had my Brit, you know, an old 303 Brit with a junk plastic stock on it and a Bushnell scope from Walmart. And we went down and checked targets, and he looked at mine. He's like, "I'm throwing my shit away when I go home." I packed his stuff up and left.
Yes.
And I'm like, you know, and I don't shoot great with it. I shoot a little under an inch with it, but I mean, it's like, you know, it's only 100 yards. It's not that, but it's just you got to have that time, man. It takes tons of time. That's what amazes me, you know, about Josh, and see what he does, you know, with his little Lee Challenger press and some, you know, budget rifles.
Are you talking about 243 Outdoors?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that guy, he's an awesome cat, awesome shooter.
Yeah, that's amazing stuff. I imagine somebody said Michael said some people were at NRA thing, and I imagine that's probably where he's at tonight. 'Cause that's down around him.
Where is it? He's somewhere out in the Midwest, right?
Yeah, he's in Southern Illinois. Yep. Him and I kind of I used to live pretty close to where he's at. Lots of farmland, lots of flat farmland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny's been doing some pretty good work too. Him and Josh both do great stuff with not a lot of money. So
I'll tell you what, I hooked up with Kenny when he was early on in his channel and trying to do cast bullet stuff in the rifles, and I kind of hooked up with him and told him, you know, a few things on it, because what he had wanted to do with what he was trying to do, and I was like, man, you can't go that route. But man, his channel has just blown up. Kenny, he's putting out some real good stuff these days. That cat's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah, he's a brainiac.
Oh, yeah.
He is, man. He's in the side chat, man. He joined us probably about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
I can't
he's
see
a
my
good
side
dude.
chat. Yeah,
But
Kenny,
yeah,
Kenny's
I
good
enjoy
too.
watching his stuff. He's and 243 as well. I mean, I could never hit a milk jug at maybe 500 yards if you give me long enough to practice, but not
Well, how
what.
do you know that, Jamie? Have you ever tried?
No, sir, I haven't.
Well, you know what? I had taken so many people out and shot targets at 1,000 yards, and they were like, I can't believe I hit that. And I was like, I told you it's not that complicated. It really isn't. I mean, if you got even just a decent rifle and a load and some knowledge on how to, you know, work yourself out there, it's not that hard. It's not as hard as people think it is.
You know what? I agree with you to some degree, and the reason why I say that is when I was really getting into precision handgun shooting, that was taking up all my time, and I was just practicing, and it's a very different thing than shooting offhand and shooting at 15 yard, trying to really get into it. And then I got myself behind a rifle, and I'm like, bang, 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 bang. I don't remember this being that easy. You know, I got this long, giant barrel, this heavy ass gun. Nothing wants to move. Everything kind of, it's like you get it up in there, right? And I'm like, a little bit of breath control, good to go. So I agree with you that it's not as bad as people make it out to be, but I think having the right equipment really helps. Being able to see makes a giant difference. I've never had a really good scope, and I know that makes a big difference.
And that's the truth. Most of my higher end guns, the optics cost more than the rifles do, and that's just the norm. But you know, you can't hit what you can't see.
That's true.
And when you're talking those extreme distances, every little bit helps. And yeah, it's a stupid game. It's a stupid, stupid, stupid game. It's like, why you're shooting chunks of steel? Why? My wife asked me, "You wanted to spend how much to do what?" And I'm like, So yeah, I have a hard time explaining that.
Well, one of the reasons I say I don't think I could do it is because I've never tried. I've always been a decent shot my whole life. I started shooting when I was a little kid. But there was a long time in my life when I didn't shoot at all when I was raising kids, and at the point I'm at now in my life, I just have trouble seeing. So
Yeah.
you're right. You can't hit what you can't see.
It's not that you have trouble seeing; the target just has trouble making itself clear.
So you
Welcome
snuck
back,
back in
Mr.
on
Plus.
us, huh?
I'm sorry, guys. My phone died, and then I got on the iPad, and it said no. So yeah, I'm back now.
Brother, my iPad just decided that it was going to shut down and go through an update for me.
Yeah. Hey, you've been there.
I appreciate everything that Apple does.
Yeah, every little bit of it.
So
Man, I think that. Oh, sorry, Walter. Go ahead.
Oh no, okay. So me and my brother and my son, we're heading out next weekend to head over to the eastern part of our state, and we're gonna go shoot the crap out of the ground squirrels over there. So we're gonna go invade the alfalfa fields and shoot sage rats all weekend long. So
That
Cool.
sounds like fun.
Like
might
plan
bring
to
some
me, sir.
cameras and try to get some footage of blowing up critters over there.
That does sound like fun.
Oh, it's always a blast.
I noticed today, and my eyesight has always been very sinus dependent. I remember before when I was transitioning, when I was going out of the military, you got to go in for a final physical, and I went in and she tested my sight. She's like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "No, don't worry about it. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll be all right." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, because it came out like 20/80 or something. I'm like, no, my vision's fine. Just I got to come back. My sinuses are bothering me. So it's always been sinus dependent, but I've really noticed recently, I can't focus on shit close to me anymore. It's like, okay, like I just can't see that. Like now I'm getting to the point. It's like, okay, I'm gonna need like reading like the fine print of a watch. Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen anymore. It's like, yeah. So it does change.
Getting old, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just getting older. Is all it is because I've always had pretty good eyesight. So it's just getting older, and fortunately, I don't think those things have too much to do with shooting. I don't know the difference between being short-sighted and long-sighted, but I can still see stuff that's across the room really well. It's just getting close. I'm like,
it's called nearsighted and farsighted.
There you go. I don't have the vocabulary for it. I figure if I ignore it, it never happened.
Well, hey, Nathan.
Sir.
Thankfully, we're not as old as Kyle.
Kyle's the old one, right?
Yeah, I'm the elder here, I guess.
He's old as dirt.
Yeah, old as dirt.
Man, I feel like I am. Good
How
God.
old are you, Kyle?
I'll be 40 in July.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. No, I mean, no. I mean,
you've got to be
hell,
lying.
I don't know what answer you're looking for at this point.
I want the truth.
Oh, no, that's the truth.
I'll be 40 July the 10th.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Old as shit.
I'll just say, like Pontius Pilate said, what is the truth?
Oh, A2 Brute. Come on.
Well,
No,
I'll be 57 my next birthday.
47, 52 and a third.
Hut.
Nathan, how old are you going to be your next birthday?
I've at this point, I don't think there's anything else that I can do to make my life any better except just get through the bullshit that I started.
Man, ain't that the truth?
Once I get through the bullshit that I started, I think everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, just don't start any new bullshit. I think I got this handled.
Yeah, I'm with RG Homestead. He said I'm only 6.5 decades old.
Woohoo!
With that,
There you go.
I'm closing in on 6 decades, just as hard as we can go.
But let me tell you this: I've gone full bore on all 40 years of it.
Not the
I was
years,
wore
it's
out
mileage.
3 decades ago.
Well, I'll be 19 in December for the second time.
Lying ass.
For the second time.
Jeremy Gunslinger, you better be glad you ain't on here, boy.
Oh,
You see what he said? I'll be 27 my next birthday, and I feel like I'm 30 already.
Yeah.
It started rolling
like
after
I was
25.
30 again.
Man, don't even get me started on that. I felt like I was
38 in
27
December,
when
so.
I was 13, dude. I started turning wrenches for a living, making a paycheck, not counting what I was doing in the front yard. Making a paycheck and paying taxes on it in 1993.
Yeah, I didn't pay taxes, man. I worked on a farm. Like, there was no taxes.
Me and
there's always
Vanessa was less than a year apart.
There's always taxes.
One taxes when you were making $50 every 2 weeks, and that's not a joke, by the way.
Well, but before we go, I want to say,
Oh, good grief! It is 10 o'clock.
I'm just glad that my phone got enough charge to restart so I could hop back in, because the iPad said, nah.
Wow, guys, that's some time flies, man. I did not realize that it was 10
yeah, it
o'clock.
does.
Wow.
Hey, well, I'll start off if that's okay.
Fine by me, brother.
I want to thank Coach Brothers, because he definitely gave me a lot of information that's definitely can help me out, and all the other guys, and even the side chat. I interact with all y'all, so thanks everyone for being here. I definitely appreciate it. Y'all forgive me. I asked so many rookie questions because I don't know, and that's the only reason I asked. So thanks, guys.
Hey, there is no such thing as a stupid question. I guess that leads into me, doesn't it? I'm thankful that everybody hung around and stayed here. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties, but I'm back. I'm actually hooked up to a auxiliary solar powered battery backup, because apparently the wall thing wasn't doing it. But yeah, I'm glad everybody could stay here and have a good evening. I mean, this is actually my Friday night release. I saw Bacon in the side chat. I don't know if he's still there or not, but
yeah, he is.
Well, hey, Bacon. It's been my honor to be here tonight, and I might have given somebody some insight. I probably didn't, but I want to thank Mr. Coach Brothers for being here.
Well, I want to thank you guys for inviting me. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, and just things haven't worked out on my end, but I've had just a blast talking with all you guys.
I'm glad the stars aligned, brother.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'd love to do it again sometime soon. And I hope all you guys have a good evening, and let's do it again sometime soon.
Let me just be the first one of everybody here to say, I want to say good night, Walter.
Thank you, Kyle.
Walter,
and don't go anywhere after Jamie says we're clear.
Walter, that's the coolest reloading room I've seen so far. You got a rebel flag and a picture of Clint Eastwood. How much better can it get any better?
Yeah, well, at least you guys embrace it. I get a lot of flack from that stuff sometimes.
I don't know why. The only people that give you any flack is people that don't know what the hell Clint Eastwood stands for.
All my liberal friends, right?
And that flag is from a Georgia boy. That flag's misunderstood too.
Absolutely.
There's
That's
some
what I was
people-
saying. That should be the only flack he's getting is from somebody who don't know what a picture of Clint Eastwood stands for.
Yeah. Okay. If I can be so bold, guys, if y'all let me plug my giveaway. I'm giving away. We went over 300 subscribers. I'm giving away a Vortex Strike Fire 2. If you
Nice.
haven't entered, you've got till the end of this month. And if it's all right with the fellas on the panel, next week we'll give this sucker away.
Do it
All
too.
right, y'all.
Fine by me.
So be sure and tune in next Friday night. We're going to give away this Strike Fire Red Dot system. It's a pretty cool contraption.
Man, I could use that for my little PC9 carbine, but I will not enter.
Oh, come on, man. We've only got, let me see, of the people we have entered, I've got VRs from Michael Signs, from OP25TTFD, and Willie Bulletman. And there's a list of the enterees, whatever that word may be. But if you want to enter and want a chance to win, go to my channel on the Reloaders Network. Just do a comment, say I want in, and watch that video. It'll give you the rules and stuff, and hope we have lots more entries. We've only got like 30 or so far. So all you guys that want a chance, go put in a comment. If you do a VR, you'll get 5 more entries.
I'm gonna have to do a VR just to get it, just to see if I can get some of my 500 to come over and do it.
The VR for the 5 more entries, I want you to call out 2 channels that have under 300, some small channels. We're not doing this to bring attention to me or my channel or anything. We're wanting to get some publicity for those channels that need the growth and stuff like that. And we've only got 3 VRs so far. So I was thinking we'd have a lot more VRs. That was the purpose.
Yeah, I might do that. I mean, mainly, just to get people to know what's going on. But yeah,
I owe you one too, brother. I ain't forgot.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want one too.
Well, we've got, I want to close it down Thursday. I believe that's the end of the month. But Wednesday night or Thursday, whenever it is at midnight, we're going to cut the entries off, and then we'll have the drawing next Friday night on this live stream and give it away, and I'll mail it to you. Walter, again, thanks for being on with us. And Nathan, Kyle, and Chico, thank you for spending your Friday night with me. All
Well,
you
I
guys
appreciate
on the side chat, thank y'all for being here. And as always, I appreciate y'all, each and every one of you, very much.
It's always
Right.
a pleasure, brother. But I apologize for the technical difficulties.
And I appreciate you having me as a guest this weekend. It was a lot of fun, and I hope to do it again sometime soon. You guys were great. Thank you very much.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you.
brother.
Like,
We'll have you back soon.
Appreciate it.
And with that, we'll throw it over to Nathan.
all right, everybody. We had quite a few people out there in the side chat tonight, and I appreciate all of your interactions and questions. I really like that when we get the questions going back and forth, especially when we have a guest on, so that you guys can talk to them directly. And I think it kind of makes for a more interactive environment, and I do appreciate it. Everybody's got a little bit of stuff coming up here soon. I may not. I have no idea. And but yeah, we're going to be back next week and on Jamie's channel. So don't forget to check that out. I don't know as if there's any big news going on this NRA meeting. Keep your eyes out. Make sure there's nothing stupid going on. But I think that's going to be it, guys. And I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, and I really do appreciate the Cope brother fire coming out and talking with us. And we will see you guys next week. Good night.
Thank you,
All
guys.
right, everybody. Have a good weekend.